please help me welcome to the stage our fantastic accordion master and guest tonight, Mr. John Whelan, along with John Sanders, our own faculty here at Edmonds College.
You know, when Jen said master, I thought she was talking about John Sanders. Thanks for being here, everybody.
We'll just start with a tune, huh, John?
Yeah.
Take it, buddy.
All right. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah. This will work. There we go. One more time, John Whelan. Yeah, John. Thanks so much for being here, man.
Oh, I'm delighted to be here. Great to see Jeff, too.
Yeah, Jeff's here. All right, so we met through this tour. It's called the Wild Atlantic Music Tour, which is, it's like a tourist kind of tour where you're on a bus and you're traveling to a town and spending a couple days there and then you travel to a town. But it's designed for musicians. And having some Irish ancestry, Ireland's always been on the list. And my buddy Jeff went with me. And so we were, yakking about what we should do. And I said something about Ireland, and Jeff said, yeah, let's do Ireland. And then I found out about this tour. So I'm researching this tour, and then I see this guy John Whelan's on there. He plays accordion. I went, okay, that's the one to do. They feature a different musician who travels with the group each week. And so the week that we were able to go during our spring break here, there's an accordion player on it. I thought, okay, I play the accordion. I want to learn something from this guy. And so I look up his website, and the guy lives on Vashon Island. Figure that out. John can tell you more about his family and history better than I could, so maybe he'll tell you a little bit about that. So I contacted him and was able to catch a concert of his up in Mount Vernon before the tour and got a lesson from him there. Got me started on learning one of the reels. I get to play a little later. And then we met up again in Ireland and spent a whole week together touring around the West Coast, mostly County Clare and Galway area. And this guy, he's been around the Irish music scene for a long, long time, and he knows everybody. So everywhere we'd go, they'd be like, oh, John, and then they'd sit down and have a session right in front of us, including Matt Malloy, in Westport from the Chieftains and his pub. They closed the doors, locked the doors, and let us have a private session in there. I mean, just a lot of great moments. It was a fabulous trip. And along the way, I'm soaking up this stuff and starting to learn these new tunes. Irish music is new to me, and it was a fabulous trip. And so we got to talking, and I said, well, if we can have you out, you want to come out? And sure enough, here he is. So glad he's here.
You know why I live on an island? The water is a protective measure for accordion players. Stay with me, folks.
So tell us a little about yourself, John.
Well, I was actually born in England, in London, and my parents are Irish, immigrated to England. My father was from County Wexford on the southeast coast, and my mother was from Tipperary. The music side was more my father's side. My great-grandfather played the accordion, and so it was kind of an obvious choice for my father when I was young to go out and get me an accordion. And 50-odd years later, I'm still playing. I came to the U.S. In 1980 and landed on the East Coast and stayed there for about 37 years before I migrated across the country to Seattle. And then in 2018, my wife and I bought a house on Vashon Island. So that's the quick answer to, I've done many things in my career, and we can talk about some of that stuff as we go through the evening here for the next 45 minutes or so.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, so I'm just going to get out of the way and let John take over. What we had talked about is he's going to play some different styles. Pretty much all of these tunes are based on dances, particular dance styles. And so he said he'd talk a little bit about the rhythms and the dance styles as he moves through his different tunes. And then when he gets to the reels, he's going to invite me back up, and I'm going to play more notes over a course of 5 minutes than I ever have in my life. There's a lot of notes, man.
Well,
So take it away, John.
I just played a couple of reels for you, and the hardest part, as you can tell, there were actually 3 tunes that I played. So if you're not familiar with the music, the melodies are very short, and so you always group melodies together when you're playing for dancing, and that's primarily what it is. It's for dancing. So I'll play a couple of jigs for you, and I'll play some fairly common tunes. The first one is called the New York Jig, and I like that tune because I lived in that area for a long time. And the second tune is called Whelan's. I didn't write it, but it's been around a long time. I learned it as a young boy, and I followed that up with a tune called The Carrow. Thank you. So it's great to be here, Edmonds, and I know we have some of the students here working tonight doing sound and lighting and all that kind of stuff. And so, you know, I said I came here in 1980. I was 20 years old, and I just want to point this out to the students here that I hopped on a plane from England with $150 that I borrowed. I had a suitcase and an accordion, and I came to America with a dream and a hope of accomplishing something. I wasn't quite sure what at the time. And in the last 42 years or so since I've been here, I've recorded probably 15 albums. I'm on the National Geographic Ireland CD as a featured artist. I've done the Conan O'Brien show, and I've done a couple of movies and some national daytime TV shows. So you follow your dreams, you work hard, and you learn your craft, learn your trade, and you never know what's going to happen. I mean, who would have thought Irish button accordion player could have that kind of success in the music industry and be in the top 10 world music charts along with the three tenors and the Gypsy Kings and the Chieftains. So I've been truly blessed, but it's a lot of hard work. So get stuck in and do the hard work. And I'll play a couple of hornpipes for you. So the reels, for those of you who don't know, are in 4/4 time. The jigs are in 6/8 time, and the hornpipes are in 2/4 time. So some hornpipes could be played as a reel, and some reels can be played as a hornpipe. So this is a tune that I actually learned. You know, we've all had to deal with the pandemic, and once the pandemic happened, my 50th anniversary tour was canceled. I got as far as Little Rock, Arkansas, and had to turn around. So I started an online session, what I call a slow session, and we've been doing it for 44 weeks. And these tunes I learned for the session, because after 44 weeks of trying to come up with tunes that I haven't repeated, I had to start learning tunes. So the first one is called The Tailor's Twist, and the second one is called The Brown Coffin. slow things down a little bit. You guys seem like you're getting carried away out there, so I'm going to play a slow air. And a slow air is not really very common on the button accordion. A great player, Tony McMahon, was one of the first to make it really cool to play slow airs on the button accordion. But it's really a lot of the slow airs are actual songs, traditional songs from the, going back hundreds of years. But this particular tune was written by an accordion player, a friend of mine, Seamus Shannon, and I learned this tune many, many years ago. It's a wonderful tune called Lament to Olive Goldsmith. And Olive Goldsmith was a great playwright, I think in the 1700s, I believe. And I'll follow that up with a tune called Master Coralies. I'll do a couple more before I have John come back up here. So I decided at a young age that I would write tunes, write my own music, and hopefully that some people would end up liking what I write. And thanks be to God, some people did. And so I want to play a couple of those very different things that I've written that was kind of the backbone of the success of my career. So in 1987, I recorded an album with a young lady called Eileen Ivers, who was the lead fiddle player in Riverdance, was the original fiddle player in Riverdance. And I wrote a piece of music called Trip to Skye after making a trip to the Isle of Skye to visit with the great Phil Cunningham, who's a fantastic piano accordion player based out of Scotland. And after I recorded, the album came out, there was a band in Brittany called Skullvan, ended up recording it. They were the first band to actually record that piece of music. And it's been recorded multiple times, many, many times. I'm not sure if it was 100, but it's certainly high figures. And by brass quartets from Japan, a Russian rock band from Russia, a band from Costa Rica. And, I mean, it's just amazing if you go on YouTube and look at the different formations of this melody that I've written. It's very humbling. But it's just called A Trip to Skye. And I also wrote a waltz for my ex-wife, Louise, and I had the great pleasure of having Jay Unger. I don't know if you're familiar with Jay Unger. Jay Unger was the fiddle player that wrote the tune, the melody, Ashokan Farewell, that was the theme to Ken Burns' Civil War series, and also has been recorded by Celtic Women, and is a very, very successful fiddle player. And this piece of music ended up actually being danced to in Nagano, Japan, in the Olympic Games by Shailene Bourne and Victor Kratz. And another melody that I wrote for my mother. And these are all slow melodies, but I'll try and get through them quickly. And the third tune is a tune I wrote for my mother. My mother was from Ballingarry in Turles, County Tipperary. And my mother taught me, hey Tina, and my mother taught me to dance when I was a young boy. And so I wanted to reward her for stepping on her toes by writing a waltz for her. And this waltz was used in a documentary about Irish music in the New York area from the 1920s up until the mid to late 80s. And they used it for the credit roll. So I'm very, very happy about that. But Trip to Skye was also used in the third season of Sex and the City TV show. And so that was for all you young budding recording artists and musicians here. That's the gift that keeps on giving, I might add, when you get your music on television and film. So anyway, so three melody, Trip to Skye, Louise, and my belling. I've never done these three together, so they're all different tempos, so we'll see how that works out. And hopefully there's people online. I know this is being broadcast live, so I hope everybody out there in computer land is enjoying it as well. So just keep in mind that you're hearing these melodies as I wrote them on this instrument, and on the recordings there's multiple instruments, fiddles and Irish pipes and orchestras and all that kind of stuff. So. I should have played these tunes before I played them tonight. And anyway, so I'll do one more tune that I'm going to play a set of polkas. And of course, we got the polka originally came from Poland, but these are Irish-style polkas. And when they came from Poland, they branched out through all of Europe. So polkas are being played in pretty much all the Western European countries. But this is a set of polkas, and I've had a bunch of these used on various different TV programs. So it's a good thing to look for, maybe, if you're interested in where the music is coming from. So histories, mysteries, histories, detectives, and like I said, Sex and the City, and it's actually used on stuff that I've never even seen or heard of, but it's in foreign countries, so it's kind of interesting. So this is a title track to one of my albums, which is called Flirting with the Edge. It's a world music album that I did with a bunch of people from a guy called Oscar Lopez from Chile on Latin jazz guitar, a guy called Samate from Uganda playing kalimba, and of course many of my Irish peers were on there, and also the great, wonderful actress Bernadette Peters sang on the record. So this is called Flirting with the Edge. The second tune is called Rockaway Beach. I actually did the photo shoot for that particular album out on Rockaway Beach, jumping off the sand dunes. So the front cover is me flying through the air. And the third tune is a tune that I wrote for my youngest son, Emmett. And for those of you who have more than one child will appreciate this. This tune is called Emmett's Revenge. My first son was a saint, but actually it all turned out okay, because Emmett graduated, passed the bar exam, and is now clerking for a federal judge in Charlotte, North Carolina. But boy, he was a handful when he was younger. So here we go. This is the Irish polka. There you go, a couple of funky Irish polkas. John, are you ready to give? So, as John said, he's new to the Irish music, and I was delighted when we met, and I was even more delighted when he said he was coming on my music tour of Ireland with his good buddy Jeff, and now hopefully my good buddy. We had a great time, and I tell you what, hanging out with these two guys for a week, my stomach was, I was laughing so much. This guy here is a riot, absolute riot. I thought I was funny, but...
Actually, you showed up at the slideshow.
Yeah. So this is, you're seeing a little bit of it. These are John's photos, but it's a great tour. I'm doing it again next year if anybody's interested. If you want to come and have a week in Ireland, it's the 29th of April through the 6th of May, which is actually really good for the flowers. Yes, for the spring, especially in the Burren, along the Burren in the west. But we had a great time, and so John has all the information if anybody's interested, or you can ask me. I don't have any flyers with me. I wasn't organized enough to, and I do have CDs, but not with me. So if you're interested and you like what you heard and you want to hear some of these slower tunes with the arrangements and all the other musicians, you can get me on iTunes or any of that stuff, or you can go to Bandcamp. I have a compilation album there of 33 original pieces of music that I've written with, like I said, orchestration, flutes, fiddles, pipes, all kinds of stuff. And also there's stuff on, what's the, gumroad.com. If any of you are interested in any learning any of this music, there's 1 hour tune learnings that I did for the last few months on, with the COVID. I did that online kind of 1 hour teaching a tune, Irish tune. So that can be found on gumroad.com. And just look up my name, John Whelan, you find it. So these are 3 tunes that I gave to John. And I deliberately picked tunes that weren't the simplest because I wanted to challenge him. So the first tune is Coralies, and the second tune is a tune called The Wise Maid, sometimes called All Around the World, and the third tune is a tune called Kiss Me Kate. Two, three. Okay? You start off. I'll follow you. Well, you know, I have to be honest here. John only got those tunes like a week and a half ago, so it's pretty amazing that he learned them. He learned them so quickly. And trust me when I say this, especially for you young guys and ladies learning to play music. It's not that easy to change your genres. Irish music is a very distinct kind of thing to do. And if I was to have, I told John earlier, if I had to jump in and learn jazz in a couple of weeks, a week and a half, I'd be in serious trouble. So it is really, really hard to cross genres because everything you're doing is muscle memory. You're so used to doing things a certain way. So I think you did great, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Really, really good.
Thanks, but John's a fabulous teacher too. It does such a great job of presenting it really slowly and carefully, and on each one of those tunes when we worked together, he let me shoot a little video of him each time, playing it nice and slow, and then the second time a little faster. And I don't know if you noticed, but he was holding me back, and he knew what he was doing over there. My hand, you know, I'm nervous, and I just had a coffee, and my hand wants to take off, and he's like, just, you know, rhythmically, he's holding me back. Don't go too fast, Johnny.
So we have time for a couple more, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Because we kind of started a little bit late, so you guys tell me when I look. You know, I'm an accordion player. When I get an audience, I try to keep them. You know how difficult it is to be an accordion player your whole life. You know. An interesting story about that, actually. I was born in London, but I grew up in about 40 miles outside of London, a place in an area, not Luton Town, but next to Luton Town. But if you ever do any flying in England, Luton Town now has the third largest airport in Britain, and they do all the transcontinental flights out of Luton. But I remember going home after my first time visiting back home, and I met my neighbor, who's a couple of doors down. We were in terraced houses. We were really, really poor. We were living in a pretty tough area, and I got picked on a lot when I was going to school. But I went to the local pub, and there was my neighbor, Daniel, and I said hello, and said, you know, I heard you're in America, and you're doing all this stuff. And he said, you know, I remember when we used to tease you all the time, pick on you. You couldn't come out to play because you had to practice your accordion. And he said, and we were laughing at you. And he said, here I am sitting at the same stool at the same bar all these years later. He said, and you know what? We're not laughing anymore. And so I thought it was a big thing for him to do and to say. So I bought him a drink, and we chatted for a little while longer. But anyway, that's you know, sometimes you got to suffer through those kind of things, but it all comes out in the end, right? So anyway, so let me play a couple more jigs. So these are 3 tunes that I wrote myself, and it's interesting when you start writing traditional tunes. I did a tour with an accordion player from Quebec, and we did this tour called Once Upon an Accordion. There was three of us doing different styles, and he was doing the Quebecois style and French musette style of accordion. But he would always get up in this beautiful French accent and said, I write my own music. He said, that's why I know it's traditional. And I always loved that line. So, but anyway, so this first tune has actually been picked up a lot by a lot of the young musicians. And I just, as we were in Ireland, and my wife and I took a couple of extra weeks after the tour was over, and we went to Wexford to visit family and had a couple of great sessions there. And a lot of those musicians were playing my tunes, and they had no idea that I wrote them. And it was, again, very humbling to see that happen. You know, your goal is that you be certainly entwined and part of the tradition going towards the end of your days. I mean, hopefully I've got a few more years left in me, but I think you get the idea of what I mean. So the first tune is called Ian's Return to Ireland. And Ian was a young accordion player from Warwick, New York, who competed in the All-Ireland Championships back in Ireland and won the under-18 category in 1987. And I was so proud of him, I wrote this tune for him. And the second tune is a tune called Yannick's Jig. And Yannick John was telling me that this is a technical school. I'm actually a carpenter by trade, a Finnish carpenter. And Yannick was a guy from Poland that jumped ship before Poland became free. And I put him to work and helped him out. He couldn't speak a word of English, and I didn't speak any Polish, but we got along great together. And so I wrote this tune for him. And then the third tune I wrote for my father, Dennis Whelan. And unfortunately, I lost my father to COVID back in March of 2020. He died in the Philippines. So this is Ian's Return to Ireland, Yannick's Jig, and Dennis Whelan's. finish off with one more set of tunes, and I just want to say that I talked about my Zoom session stuff, but I also actually started doing Mondays, what I call Mondays with John, live on Facebook, and I started that 9 years ago, long before the pandemic, and I've been doing it pretty much every Monday. I missed a few here and there, especially when I was on my trip to Ireland. But I try to be really good about doing it. And if I'm out of town, I'll try to do it when I'm on the road. But I've been doing that an hour and a half every Monday night for the last 9 years. So if you want to tune in, just look me up on Facebook and tune in at 4 o'clock Pacific time. And we have people from all over the world that tune in, even Ireland, even at midnight in Ireland and England. And we've had people on the Zoom come in from Japan and from Australia. So it's pretty amazing, the technology. And I think I think a lot of people are zoomed out to some degree, but boy, let me tell you, it was really helpful to a lot of people getting them through the pandemic and being able to play music with each other. It was just an amazing gift. The technology is, you know, that thing that you love to hate, right? It's just, anyway. So I'll play a little tune that I wrote many, many years ago. This is another tune that was on that album I did with Riley Knives back in 1987. I met this wonderful accordion player from Brittany. His name was Serge Dessonnet, and I was mesmerized by his playing. I never heard that French Breton music before, and so he happened to be coming back around a couple of weeks later, and in between I wrote this tune, and I played it for him and asked him if he liked it, and he gave me the okay. And so I called it Dessonnet, and it's actually been picked up, the Brock Maguire Band, a very traditional band in Irish music, many, many recordings, actually recorded this tune on their album. And I'll go do that and then go into maybe a jig and a reel and finish off with a splurge of tunes. Thanks so much, everybody, and thanks, John, and thanks to Jen. And I'm going to go crazy if I have to try and remember everybody's name. I've got John and Jenny, CZ and his crew. Thank you, everybody. If there is anybody out there in computer land, thank you for taking the time and tuning in, and I hope you had a good time. And I really appreciate it. I hope to maybe see you all again sometime. You can look me up. Just Google me. You'll find me. No problem. all, though. You're not all clapping. Softer.